Good afternoon. Spring is here. It's so nice to be outside in the sun. I feel so good. Today I wanted to share something that stemmed from the last video I did about the silent treatment. And a good friend of mine mentioned about how something as small as receiving the silent treatment as a child, which is a form of subtle controlling, that can traumatize a child. And hear me out. This is where a lot of people say, well, no, like, what do you mean traumatize? Traumatize is this thing that happens to people who have gone through horrendous things like abuse, war. And I'm here to say that that's not always the case. People who have gone through things that aren't deemed big events can also experience trauma. And I'll give you my story on this. Growing up, I didn't have big traumatic events happen. I knew my parents loved me. I had a roof over my head. For the most part, I was safe. And I'm not comparing it to someone who grew up who was constantly facing dangers, as in a war. What I did go through was, at a very young age, before I was 10, which is a crucial part in emotional development in a child, I didn't have a way to make sense of my world because there was often chaos going on around me, and the adults in my life weren't always able to give me their emotional connection because they weren't emotionally connected to themselves. So then I wasn't able to receive that, therefore deeming myself not good enough, unworthy, unloved, because that is a primal need for that love and that connection at a young age. And this is not to condemn my parents or to blame or anything like that. The point of this, why I'm sharing this, is so that I can heal. Because for me, understanding where it's coming from and learning about it and having an awareness about it has really helped me get past it. Because now as I'm older, certain things occur, symptoms, anxiety, depression, autoimmune things like eczema, allergies, and sometimes they come out of nowhere. And there's a deep-seated root cause, which comes from beliefs. Those were put there at a very young age because of what I witnessed and what I went through. And I get that it's hard because when I was told, you had a traumatic childhood, Ashley, I went, what? No, I didn't. And I felt guilty and ashamed, and that I was taking away from the people who had grown up in much harsher conditions than I did, or things had happened to them that were much worse than what I went through. And a big piece of this is understanding that we all interpret things and react to things differently. I'm an extremely sensitive person, so something that was said or done to me could have affected me much greater than somebody else who was not as sensitive. So a big piece here is having compassion for myself and others, and knowing that everybody has their own experience, and we cannot judge based on what we went through, or what we went through was worse, so how dare they complain about their life. If something affected you when you were young, it affected you when you were young, and nobody can tell you differently. Just like for me, when I was young, I was loved conditionally. Sure, my parents had my best intentions in mind. They wanted me to do well, and that was the way they knew, the only way they knew how to make that happen in their experience and in their minds. So now it's up to me to change that, to flip the script and heal from that so that it doesn't keep repeating. And that's what I wanted to share today. And my battery's about to die. I thought my phone was charging earlier, but it wasn't. And I don't really know which way we're going, so I have to start paying attention. And I hope you have a wonderful sunny weekend wherever you are. I hope it's sunny. Bye.